standing up here, and I've been given the honor and the privilege of participating in today's ceremony. And you know, you get this little title, at least for 45 minutes. You're called the Master of Ceremonies. So we have a lot of invited guests here today, a number of our colleagues and my colleagues in government. Most importantly, I see friends and family of our newly elected officials who will be sworn in here today in the great town of Brookhaven, in the great county of Suffolk, in the great state of New York. I know the sheriff and Judy agree with me. So the quality of this program is directly related to your cooperation during the program. So we're going to try and move this along, but give appropriate recognition to our colleagues who are now being sworn into office. So we're going to start. If you all would please rise. We're going to have the presentation of the colors and our elected officials thereafter, led by VFW Post 8300. Color Guard, please begin the procession. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to have the Pledge of Allegiance offered to us by Town Clerk, Donna Legend.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you to our Town Clerk. And now we will have the singing of God Bless America, performed by Danielle Hopp.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Next, we will have our national anthem sung by Anna Lubitz.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the
Reverend Pastor John Fleischman from Christ Lutheran Church in East Moriches, where he's been pastor since 1991. He also serves as a chaplain to the Center Moriches Fire Department, Southampton Town Police Department, and the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office. Pastor.
Let us pray. Almighty God, on this day, the church commemorates a wonderful holiday, Epiphany, where the wise men came to worship Jesus with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Now, as we come out of the Christmas season, we experience another great joy, the installation of the officers in our town. We pray that you would grant Edward your holy wisdom, your presence, and your blessing as he continues to serve us as the town supervisor. Protect him with your holy angels. Watch over his beloved family and keep them ever in your care. We also ask your blessing on all of the other town officials who are installed today. Valerie, Jane, Kevin, Michael, Neil, Daniel, our receiver of taxes, Lewis, and our highway superintendent, Daniel. Grant them diligence in their calling, wisdom, compassion, kindness, and the gifts that they need to perform their duties. Finally, we know that government has been established by you, O Lord, and so this day receive our thanks that through these servants we experience your care. All honor and glory are yours, dear Father, through your Son, by the power of the Holy Spirit, now and ever, and unto the ages of ages. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. And I would respectfully ask our color card to be dismissed. And I want to thank you to the VFW Post 8300. Now, everyone, please be seated. So for those of you who are seated in the second row or further back, you don't get a chance to see the young boys and girls who are proudly here with their families in support of our elected officials. Again, thanks to the color guard, and I was chatting with Danielle briefly. I want to give a shout out to Danielle and Anna because I always respect talents that I know I will never, ever possess. How about a round of applause for our talent? So I'm going to try and do this quickly and respectfully. We have a number of elected officials who've taken time out to join us here today. And in case I do forget, none of these things happen without a lot of help. There's a lot of town employees, and nobody knows this better than the supervisor, who've dedicated time, energy, and effort to make your government work and to make ceremonies like this be performed with dignity and respect and with professionalism. So to all the people here in the town of Brookhaven who have supported this event, I thank you, and I think I can take the liberty of thanking all of my colleagues here who thank you for your efforts. So we have, in no particular order, but I see him standing over here to my right. And it's okay to recognize political leaders because they play a pivotal role and they are elected officials. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Jesse Garcia, the chairman of the Suffolk County Republican Party. I know she can't be in attendance today, but I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out as well to Lillian Clayman, who is the chairwoman of the Brookhaven Town Democratic Party. And we have from various levels of government, from the state level of government that I am proud to represent, and yes, in particular order, because ladies first, we are joined by Senator Monica Martinez. Senator? We are also joined by my longtime friend and colleague, Senator Phil Boyle. And this is to show you the power of the town of Brookhaven. We have a lot of countywide officials here today in support of the town of Brookhaven and our slate of elected officials. And I will start by recognizing our Suffolk County Executive, who was newly elected himself, County Executive Steve Long. Clearly someone who doesn't really need an introduction. She is an iconic figure in Suffolk politics. Yes, that's our County Clerk, Judy Pascal. My good friend and the keeper of the public fisc, and that is John Kennedy, Suffolk County Patrolman. And also a gentleman who represents the professionalism of law enforcement and does so with distinction. Ladies and gentlemen, Suffolk County Sheriff, Eric Toulon. And we have several county legislators who've taken time to join us. I see Legislator Bridget Fleming. Bridget, nice to see you here. I saw before Legislator Rudy Sunderman. Legislator, nice to see you as well. And our presiding officer, Legislator Clark. Nice to see you. So we have, and it's okay to have the title of former, because that means you're just relaxed. And then we have the former supervisor of the town of Brookhaven, John LaValle, I know is here somewhere. John, nice to meet you. And she is newly elected. I think she is here, the supervisor of the town of Riverhead. If she is not, I'm going to recognize her anyway. Congratulations to you. And also we have John Kelly, who is the president of Brookhaven Town CSEA White Collar Union. Okay, so now we have a number of our elected officials who have asked people that are important to them to give them their oath of office. And I'm going to start by asking Councilwoman Valerie Cartright to come up, and her oath of office will be administered by the Honorable Derek Robinson, who is an active county clerk.
Valerie, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
Valerie M. Cartwright,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support the Constitution
to support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of Brookhaven Town Council, 1st District,
the duties of Brookhaven Town Council, 1st District,
to which I was duly elected,
to which I was duly elected,
and that I will faithfully discharge these duties
and that I will faithfully discharge these duties
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability. Amen.
Your Honor, thank you, Councilwoman. Congratulations. And for those of you who know the Councilwoman, I know I don't come to town board meetings here, but I always see her little princess traveling with her all throughout the district. And so now we have from the 2nd District, Councilwoman Jane Bonner, and her oath of office will be administered by someone who is very familiar to the people of the town of Brookhaven, the Honorable Timothy Mason.
I, Jane Bonner, do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, the rules and laws of the great town of Brookhaven, and I will execute my duties as Councilwoman in the 2nd Council District to the best of my ability, so help me God.
told you to tell her to take the heels off.
Councilwoman Bonner, congratulations. Now, the councilman for the 3rd district. Where is he? There he is. Another gentleman who doesn't really need any introduction, but Councilman Kevin LaValle, and his oath of office will be administered by the Honorable Glenn Murphy.
We got a lot of family here. We got a lot of family. We go, one time we get to be in picture.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Kevin J. LaValle,
I, Kevin J. LaValle,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States,
to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States,
to uphold and defend the Constitution of the State of New York,
to uphold and defend the Constitution of the State of New York,
and to uphold and defend the Charter and ordinances of the town of Brookhaven,
to uphold and defend the Charter and ordinance of the town of Brookhaven,
and to faithfully discharge my duties
and to faithfully discharge my duties
as councilperson of the 3rd Council District
as councilperson of the 3rd Council District
to the best of my ability and good faith.
to the best of my abilities and good faith.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you. John, you want to bounce it?
Congratulations to Councilman LaValle, and gives me an opportunity to recognize former supervisor and former county leader, John LaValle. John, nice to see you again. Now we have the councilman for the 4th district, who previously had been known as Landslide Loguercio, but now he's in a better spot, and Councilman, please come up, and his oath of office is going to be administered by his son, Devin Loguercio, who's an attorney with legal aid in Suffolk County, and the Bible is going to be held by his daughter, Jessica.
Jack, please raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Devin Loguercio,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I
that I
will faithfully discharge the duties
faithfully discharge the duties
of Councilman of the 4th District
of Councilman of the 4th District
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Councilman Loguercio, congratulations. And our next honoree is the councilman from the 5th district, Neil Foley, whose oath of office will be administered by his predecessor and still Judge Honorable Tim Mason.
I, Neil Foley, solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, the rules and laws of the great town of Brookhaven, rules and laws of the great town of Brookhaven, and I will execute my duties as councilman in Council District, that great number 5, as Council District number 5, to the best of my ability, so help me God, so help me God. Congratulations. Let's move.
So I have to be a little bit careful because I want to congratulate Councilman Foley. I saw the LaValle's brought up a nice group of people. The Irish come up, they bring up some more, you know, maybe a few more people. But I have 4 more Italians coming now, so we have to be a little bit careful how many guests we're going to have coming up here. But it's a wonderful thing. The councilman for the 6th District and our Deputy Supervisor, Dan Panico, whose oath of office will be administered by the Honorable James Hudson.
This is where I left it. I'll stand this way.
I do solemnly swear
To uphold and defend
to uphold and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the state of New York,
and the state of New York,
and the charter and laws
and the charter and laws
of the county of Suffolk
of the county of Suffolk
and the town of Brookhaven,
and the town of Brookhaven,
and to discharge the duties
and to discharge the duties
of the office of town council
of the office of town councilman
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and in good faith,
and in good faith.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Councilman, congratulations. And our next honoree is the Brookhaven Town Tax Receiver, Lou Marcoccia, whose oath of office will be administered by the Honorable James Hudson again.
Just to show you how efficient the office is, my swearing in will be the shortest of all the swearing in.
Do solemnly swear to uphold and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America and the state of New York, and the charter and laws of the county of Suffolk and the town of Brookhaven, and to faithfully discharge the duties of the office of receiver of taxes to the best of your ability and good faith, so help me God.
I do.
Congratulations to Mr. Marcoccia, a gentleman who presides over, God, a vast network, an array of everything conceivable and imaginable. Wind, rain, sleet, everything like that. And a good friend, Highway Superintendent Dan Losquadro. And George Hudson, we need you again.
solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold and defend
to uphold and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the state of New York,
and the state of New York,
and the Charter and laws
and the Charter and laws
of the County of Suffolk
of the County of Suffolk
and the Town of Brookhaven,
and the Town of Brookhaven,
discharge the duties
and to discharge the duties
of Highway Superintendent
of Highway Superintendent
to the best of my
to
ability
the best of my ability
and good faith.
and in good faith, so help me God. So help me God.
Congratulations to our Highway Superintendent. And before I forget, I think I was remiss in not properly introducing the Mayor, Bill. Ray, nice to see you. I know Ray from his yeoman-like work as an educator and as a superintendent in one of our school districts here for many years. So Ray, nice to see you here. And God knows last but by no means least, Supervisor, you know what, let me say it this way. The great supervisor of the great town of Brookhaven, Ed Romaine, whose oath of office will be administered by Judge Hudson.
I do solemnly swear to uphold and defend
The Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States of America
of the United States of
and the
America
state of New York,
and the state of New York,
and the Charter and laws
and the Charter and laws
of the County of Suffolk
of the County of Suffolk
and the Town of Brookhaven,
and the town of Brookhaven,
to discharge the duties
and to discharge the duties
of the office of supervisor
of the office of supervisor
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and in good faith,
and in good faith.
so help me God.
So help me God.
So, ladies and gentlemen, very quickly, I just want to make one mention. You know, I say it with sincerity about the great town of Brookhaven. There's a gentleman sitting in the front row, who many of you know, who I think epitomizes what it means to love your community, what it means to be involved in public service, what it means to serve your country. And I think he's a friend to virtually everybody in this room. I certainly hope so, because I know he's been very dear to me. And he is just a good human being, good guy for many, many years. Served with distinction in our military. Ladies and gentlemen, Walter Haslett. So you have two gentlemen to my right, and this is a picture of bipartisan involvement in government. So I want to take the opportunity to introduce a gentleman who's served for many years with distinction in a variety of different capacities in government. But I want to make one note about public service. Sometimes people get frustrated with their government, and rightfully so. But the people who run for office and the people who put themselves out before the public, it's not easy. I know it because I've done it. You put your name out there, you're putting your name, your family, everything else that comes with it. And when you prevail, it's great. And for those who don't prevail, it's not always that easy. But I do think it's very important to say that I am a public servant, just like John Kelly, who heads this union, just like the sheriff, just like Councilwoman Cartright and every other elected official here. We are all proud to serve in government. We are proud to be representatives. And it's very important that we impart that message to you because we work for you. We work for you. And in the occasional instance where we might forget, you remind us. And that's what they call elections, and that's part of our great democracy. Now, having said that, on that note, let me introduce our county executive to say some words of welcome and about our supervisor.
Thank you, Senator. And he's doing a pretty good job as MC, wouldn't you say? And I want to talk about public service. Thank you to Senator John Flanagan for his distinguished service and his family's distinguished service to this county and to the state of New York. Thank you very much for your leadership. It is an honor to be here to say a few words as our supervisor prepares to deliver his inaugural address and to congratulate all of the distinguished elected officials who were sworn in just a few moments ago. You know, it is always interesting, the swearing in. It's almost easier to govern than to conduct the logistics of the swearing in ceremony. I remember not too long ago at my swearing in, I had to tell my son to raise the Bible because I was starting to have to bend down as it was getting too low. It is always a challenge, but my congratulations to each of my colleagues and to all of your family members. The Senator put it well. This is very much, public service is very much a family affair, and I thank all the family members for what they do as well. But it is an honor to be here to say a few words, and I think the Senator said it well. The great town of Brookhaven, being the supervisor of this town is vitally important, not only, of course, to the people of the town of Brookhaven, but to everyone in this region and to the state of New York. This is not only the largest town in Suffolk County by a long shot, it's one of the largest towns in the United States of America. And with that status comes a great responsibility. As Brookhaven goes, so goes Suffolk County, so goes our region in so many different respects. And so the person who holds that position holds an incredibly important place in our public life. And we're very fortunate to have somebody like Ed Romaine serving as supervisor in the town of Brookhaven. You know, what you need, I think, and we know this, those involved in public service, dedication is vitally important to this role. I think when you look at the term public service and you think of dedication, one of the people, if not the first person that would come to mind, is Ed Romaine. I have watched his career and you know, in many ways, as I was coming up as a young person interested in politics, the way that he would conduct himself and the dedication that he brought to this job was absolutely incredible. Whatever it was he was doing in public life. Yeah, that's exactly right. As I was a young aide in Babylon, I would listen and very carefully take notes on the then county clerk as he would deliver his remarks in Deer Park at the Bermuda Lodge. But it set an example to me of the kind of dedication that public service requires. A lot of Sundays, you know, attending events like that and other important events in our towns and our communities that are really important. And I will tell you, the other thing that's very important here is, of course, the willingness and the ability to work across the aisle, to put politics aside, and to work with anybody who wants to do good things for the community. And that has been a hallmark of the supervisor's leadership. I got to see that when I became county executive. He was on the legislature at that time, and not that we agreed on every single issue, of course, but he always demonstrated a willingness to work with, didn't matter what party was, to work with anybody who wanted to get something done that mattered to the people that we serve. And the last thing I would say is leadership. Leadership in this town is critical. And if you look at the big issues that our region is facing, whether it's economic development and being able to keep our young people here, whether it's water quality and protecting the environment and a commitment to protecting the environment, or government efficiency, working to make government work better for the people we serve, Ed Romaine has been a leader on all of those issues and so many more. But it is on those critical issues, those challenges we face in this region, that Supervisor Ed Romaine is leading on, and that's why I'm proud to be here. I am grateful for his service and looking forward to working together over the next 4 years as we seek to really solve the challenges that we face in this region and to bring greater prosperity to all of our families, not only here in the town of Brookhaven, but across Suffolk County. The supervisor is a critical leader in that effort, and it is my great pleasure to introduce a great leader and a good friend. Please welcome the newly inaugurated supervisor of the town of Brookhaven, Ed Romaine.
On a day like today, there's so many people to thank. And I will assure you that I will be short. But let me thank, first of all of you for coming and attending. It's deeply appreciated. And I see many friends from government that I've worked with over the years, and I appreciate your attendance. I want to thank Senator Flanagan for MC. John has been a friend. And I'm old enough to remember when his father served in the Assembly. And I am very proud of the son that he took his place. I want to thank Danielle. I want to thank Anna. Their voices add great joy. And Anna has done this how many times? So many times. And Danielle has done so in the past, and I appreciate it. They have beautiful voices. I want to thank Father Fleischman. Is Rabbi Mindy Goldberg here? Rabbi, thank you. He's going to do the closing play, so I'm not the last act here. He's the last act, as it should be. God has the last word. I want to thank all my colleagues. We have been elected 3 times together. And they've all returned to office, so whatever they're doing, hopefully they're doing it right. This is my 5th election as supervisor of this town. I'm happy to say we have 6 councilmanic districts. Each time I ran, I carried each of the 6 districts. And that's important to me because I want to govern for the whole town. Not for one district, not for one segment, but for the whole town. And I'm guided and helped by my colleagues on the town board, by our highway superintendent, by our tax receiver, and by our town clerk. 2020 almost makes you feel like you're an optical office where you have clear vision. Hopefully we do. 2020 is going to be a year of challenges, but it's also going to be a year of opportunities. And I could give you a laundry list, but it would be so long. But my colleagues know. Creating more affordable housing. Long Island has become so expensive for so many. It is on the top of our agenda. We want this to be a town for everyone. We also have to rethink our zoning and planning. Obviously, brick and mortar stores are not as needed as they were in the past. We have to take a look at what we want our town to be, because what we wanted it to be 10 years ago isn't what we want it to be today, isn't what we will want it to be. Well, I won't be here in 10 years, but what it will be in 10 or 20 years, because our zoning, our planning, the way our town should look and develop changes. Town is not static, and we should change with it. Foremost in our thoughts, and I don't have to tell anyone that has traveled a roadway in this town, we've got to prevent traffic congestion and overdevelopment. That will not serve our town well in the long run. There's a place for development, but there's a place for preservation and to preserve our open spaces and prevent our town from being overdeveloped. I looked across our town and I noticed, I bet if I asked how many people came by car today, everyone's going to raise their hand. We have 3 train lines that traverse this town. Montauk line, the main line, and the Port Jeff line. None of them are electrified, other than a small segment of Marcoccia. The rest of this town relies on diesel. That's a 19th century technology. As long as I've been in office, I've advocated our fair share from the MTA, which quite frankly, we have not received. I've asked for electrification, which is a 20th century technology. We're not even looking at the 21st century, which is maglev. And I'm just asking that the state, the MTA, invest in Long Island. And this is the year it needs to get done. And not only is this the year that needs to get done, but our public transportation system is woefully inadequate. We need our bus system run by the county. They don't get enough state funding, I will say that. We need our bus system tied into our train system. They operate as 2 separate systems instead of joining together so people can use public transportation. Occasionally, constituents will send me pictures. And the pictures I've been receiving lately break my heart. They're from Harbor Road in Mount Sinai. They're from Mastic Beach. Their roads are flooded. We live in an age, whether people wanted to say it is true or not, of climate change. There are those who would deny it, but it's undeniable. We live in a time, we live on an island. We are an island people, and we live in a time of rising sea level. We must begin to address climate change in the best way we know how. And if you walk out, you will see solar panels here and just about every other town property that we have, in our composting facility, in our ecology site, on our roof. It's being built now, outside on our lawn, and in all other town facilities that we have renewable energy. It is the way of the future. When I came in, we made a big push for renewable energy. As of today, 50% of the power that this town government needs comes from renewable energy. It's not enough. It is not enough. So I am working as much as I can to do that. We're looking, as you know, to close our landfill in 2024 and convert that to an energy park, where we will have solar panels on top of the landfill. We have battery devices at the landfill. We have other renewable energy devices that we'll be placing at our landfill. The future is overtaking us, and unless we speak to the future, we will lose the battle to control our destiny. One of the biggest battles we have, as town government, we're responsible for garbage. It's something people want to forget about. They want to put that can out on Monday and Thursday or Tuesday and Friday, and the recyclables. We're closing our landfill. There's only two things you can do with garbage. And we're not burying it. So the only two things left to do is burn it in a waste-to-energy plant, which is what we do with most of our garbage now. Or do what most towns do, truck it off the island. Whether they deal with a car such as Maggio or someone like that, it winds up being trucked off the island. We have to have a better way. We have to have a better way, and we have to plan a better future. And in the next few weeks, myself and members of the town board are going to be looking at all of our options for waste management. What's worse is the recycling market worldwide collapsed about 2 years ago. The state, the federal government, the county of Suffolk, as well as the towns, have to get more deeply involved in recycling and how we can better recycle our garbage. The more we can reduce, the better off it is. We started with single stream until the recycling market collapsed. We had to go back to dual stream. Honestly, we deserve a better future. We need, for example, change in some of the state bidding requirements. So glass, which is an aggregate, can be included in concrete. A simple thing like that. We can go back to recycling glass, which we had to stop because there was no market for it. We need to create markets. We need to change laws on a state level as far as packaging is concerned. We need to do the things that will give our children a better future. I mean, I could go on about so many things. But I hear the voice of my youngest granddaughter. She is anxious. Her name is Charlotte. And I see my grandson, who I love dearly, Colin, and my granddaughter, Riley, so pretty in your dress, as is your sister. And when I frame debates and talk, and I can talk, that's how I got elected, talking. I could talk for a long time. When I look into their eyes, when I think about their futures, I am seriously motivated to do whatever I can to ensure that these children and all the children that sit in this audience today have a better future. We owe it to them. And some of the things that we're doing, and some of the policies that we're doing may not work. But I'm going to continue to try everything I can to come up with the right policies for their future. I appreciate you paying attention. I appreciate my fellow elected officials for their support. And thank you so much. I'm going to turn it back to our MC, who's going to introduce our rabbi for the closing prayer. A good friend of mine for many years, as John Fleischman is also, and John's a neighbor. And Rabbi, we were up here last month, 3 weeks ago, celebrating Hanukkah in the cafeteria. So I'll turn this back to John.
Right before I introduce the rabbi, you know, I'm going into my own 34th year in government service, and I really think about the history of Suffolk County. Ed Romaine is a fixture in government in Suffolk County. And one of the amazing things is, you know this, but it bears repeating, the guy is ageless, right? He pisses a lot of people off. He never changes. He looks the same. He's timeless. He's ageless. But when he talked about motivation, I'm going to give you one example. Knowing him, he might remember this conversation. But I'd say at least 10 years ago, I was talking to him about government and what's going on. Man, is this guy plugged in. He pays attention to everything. He told me he read all the weekly papers. Right? So now here, I'm in government, right? And I'm going, so, no, wait, did you just say you read all the weekly papers? Yeah. And you read them cover to cover? Yeah. And even as someone in government going like, why do you do that? And that's how he stays in touch. For those who serve with him, you know that. So when he looks at those grandchildren and he talks about the 21st century, I absolutely believe that those are the things that he wants to do, working with everybody who's sitting here. Now on that note, I have the pleasure, and I want to introduce him properly. Rabbi Mendy Goldberg serves as the Rabbi of Chabad House of Quorum, the Associate Director of Lubavitch of the East End. Lubavitch of the East End provides synagogue services, spiritual guidance, community outreach, and education to inspire all Jews to discover their common bond of Jewish faith and observance. And ladies and gentlemen, if we ever needed faith, we ever needed hope, right now is that time. And who better to deliver our closing prayer? Rabbi. Rabbi, thank you.
Thank you. Almighty God, we conclude with your blessings upon this assemblage of prominent men and women gathered here today. Look favorably upon the Supervisor Ed Romaine, Highway Superintendent Daniel Losquadro, Town Tax Receiver Louis Marcoccia, and all the honorable members of the Town Council of our great town of Brookhaven. We beseech you, Almighty and merciful God, to extend your grace to each and every member of this august body, and bestow upon them the joy of life, good health, and prosperity. Bless these distinguished individuals who have been chosen to make the laws and decisions for the citizens of our town. Grant these public servants wisdom and understanding in their noble pursuit of justice and equality. Give them guidance so that they will always be conscious of your presence and will strive to enact laws with honesty and integrity in accordance with your will. May they have wisdom to turn adversity into opportunity and to transform the hard challenges we face today into the seeds from which will sprout the growth of tomorrow. May our town serve as a beacon of light for all people of all faiths and of all walks of life. May the town of Brookhaven help achieve the goals so powerfully stated in our Pledge of Allegiance, so that America is truly one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hashem yishmar tzeischa uvoecha me'ata ve'ad olam. May the Almighty guard your going and coming from now and forever. And let us say amen. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the Brookhaven Town Inauguration Ceremony of 2020. These are the folks you elected. These are your public servants. You gave them a chance. I'm very confident they will serve you with distinction and make you proud. God bless the United States of America, and God bless the great town of Brookhaven. Thank you.